Good morning to all. Uh, Here we will discuss about Python syntax and programming. Over here, am I audible to all?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Actually, that everybody knows something like Python is object-oriented programming language, and we can download the softwares and interpreter from python.org, and it has something like snippets. We can able to write the snippets, and we can easy to go forward. Something like we can open with the command prompt and Python. Maybe we can do print hello world over here. Yeah, this is something like a small snippets we can able to run, and since it is the Python has interactive mode and easy to test and short code of snippets, and we can have something like Python is easier to understand, read, and maintain, and it has broad set of libraries which we have something like for data analytics, for automation, for testing, and for machine learning, and for different categories. We have the Python has the broad standard libraries which runs over multiple cross platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and Unix. And basically, it is easy to learn and use the Python in a very easier manner. That let's get started with that. Yeah. I may know that if suppose you are already doing the development, what is the IDE you are using? Integrated development environment for Python for your development.
PyCharm.
PyCharm. Okay.
Yes, good.
Yeah. I think most of us will use the PyCharm, right? Basically, the PyCharm is the one used is the integrated development environment IDE for professional developers, and basically contains all the tools which is inside that PyCharm over here. For example, we can download the PyCharm. PyCharm comes with two editions, something like professional and community editions. Professional community edition is completely free, and it can be only for pure Python development. In case if suppose we wanted to do the development for like a website or SQL and those things, we may need to go with the professional edition that if needed. Yeah. And this is to give some introduction actually about PyCharm. The PyCharm has the complete integrated development environment. It includes the Python interpreter in that, and we can have the option to run and debug the Python program, and we can able to create the project like with the set of files that we can able to create a project over here. Now we will see how can we create a project. Maybe create a new project over here, and we have the two different options here. Actually, that we have the new environment using virtual environment, virtual env, and we have an existing interpreter over here. Yes, yeah. That we can have something like this that to get create with our own project. Yeah, maybe that we can create our own projects over here, and I'm going to type meetup, create a project. Yeah, actually, the Python has different data types, numbers, a string, a list, tuple, set, and dictionary, or the different data types. Yeah, over here, and the uh, Python has something like numbers in different formats, integer, long. Anybody used long in Python programming earlier? Hello, have the exposure used using long integers? Actually, long integer is deprecated. We have only three options: integer, float, and complex. These are all the three number data types. Yeah, over here. And we can define something like, for example, we can say in the C programming, we will do something like integer a equals b, like that we have the option. But here, something like based on the data, the variable data type will get assigned accordingly. For example, I'm going to define a equals 10 over here, and a variable data type of integer got created, and we have b equals 23.34, which is an 23.34 is an floating point variable, floating point value. Because of that, the variable b with the floating point data type has been created automatically. If suppose we have created something like 1 plus 5j, sorry, which is a complex number, and it has been created with the complex data type variable. Basically, the variable get data type will be assigned based on the content it was assigned to it. Yeah. And in here, something like we have the option integer. For example, the C programming, we have the restriction like an integer should be uh, uh, 32 bits, and from this range to this range. But the thing is, here we have options, something like we can set anything, any values over here that it will be handled internally. I am going to set this much bigger value, and it has been assigned as an integer to accommodate automatically. It will get accommodated. Yes. Yeah. There is no restriction, and whatever be the integer is an signed integer. There is no concept of unsigned integer in the Python programming, and pure Python programming, there is no concept of unsigned integer over here. And yeah, and we have the option to set, and we have the data type called string. String can be created with the option something like single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes over here. And in Python, maybe I'm going to do something like a str equals a single quote Hariharan, and we have the option. The same way we can do str1 equals Hariharan over here. Yeah, the both are string. Maybe we can do str2 with the triple quotes, something like this. Triple quotes with the value Hariharan. All three will be, whichever way we are defining, all three will be considered like a same string variable. Yes. Uh, Usually, what is I used to do that something like with a single quotation in the Python programming. What is the uh, default you will use? Single quote or double quotes in your programming?
Single.
Single, yeah. Okay. It's better to use single, right? Yes, single quote. Yeah. And if suppose you wish to add something on this, maybe, yeah, please add over here. Yeah. And maybe most of us, most of us will know that this basic syntax, and we have something like the it has to be something like refreshing the basics. Because of that, it may be yeah. If And we have something like arithmetic operators that it can be used to add that two operands and subtract the two operands and multiply the two operands and divide the two operands. For example, the two variables, for example, integer a equals 23 and b equals 34. And if suppose we are creating a plus b over here, then it creates a variable as integer. Other than that, if suppose you add any floating point variable, for example, b equals 10.23, and if suppose we are adding a plus b, then whatever the c value will be a floating point variable, actually, that over here. And if suppose we wanted to divide, in case of multiplication, for example, the variable integer a equals 20 and b equals 10. And if suppose we wanted to divide, the output will be a floating point variable. For example, a divided by b, 20 divided by 10, we got the floating point variable of 2.0. Yes, it's something like the integer addition, integer subtraction, integer multiplication will result integer value, but dividing integer by another integer will provide output of floating point variable over here. The output data type will be a floating point variable. Yes. Yeah. And we have the option something like a modulus to get the remainder over here, something like maybe I'm going to use c equals a mod b over here. That the output will be an integer over here. If suppose we divide, then the output will be a floating point data type. Yes. We have a relational operators which can do something like do the comparisons, something like whether it is equals or not equals or greater or lesser and greater than equal and lesser than equal. Like that, we can able to check with this operators: equals, not equals, and greater and less than and greater than equal and less than equal symbols. Yeah. And we have something like bitwise operators. Basically, these bitwise operators can be used only with the integer. It cannot be, this bitwise operations cannot be done with floating point or something like string. Those string variables cannot be done with the bitwise operators. It can be done only with the integer operators. some integer variables, and is the and operations, or like that we can able to do that. The similar way we can have that something like a logical operators like a and or something like that. Uh, for example, we can do integer maybe a equals some 30, sorry, maybe a equals that we can define something like a 32, and b equals something like a 16, and if suppose c equals a or b, then the c will be 48. That will be additions over here. And uh, anybody has the idea something like how can we define a hexadecimal of variables over here? I will try. Yeah, it's something like we can use the 0 cross x will provide something like we can assign the hexadecimal over here. For example, a equals something like 0 cross 10 is 16, that we can able to assign with that over here. And 16, and b equals 0 cross 20, which is 38, and whenever we are doing or operation we should get 2 plus 1 30, which is an 48 basically. 3 equals a or b, and output is 48 over here. And similar way c equals a and b, then we have the output of 0, since AND operation 0 or 0, bitwise AND operations will provide 0 is 0, 1 is 0, 1 is 0, and 1 is 1 basically. Yeah. A similar way we can do the rotate right operation, rotate left operation, that we can able to do that over here. And we can have something like a assignment operators. Something equals is the assignment operator, and plus equals adds and assign to the left operand, like that. Subtracts and assigns, multiplies and assigns, and we have divide and assigns, and we have modulus and assigns. We have the rotate right and then assign to that left operand, and rotate left and assign to that left operand basically over here. And if suppose in order to do the output on the Python console, that we used to yeah, we used to use that the function called print is the function that, for example, print of C provides the content of C on the output basically over here. The same way, it's something like name equals maybe Nivi, and print will work irrespective of the data type, that it can able to print the complete thing over here, that irrespective of a string, integer, float, or anything, that it can able to provide that output accordingly over here. And we can, in order to get the in order to receive the input from the console, we will use the function called input is the function. And for example, I'm going to receive a equals input of over here, and which I'm going to type something like Hariharan. Whatever be the value we are giving, that will be assigned in terms of a string. For example, I'm going to give input. I have given string Hariharan as the input, and it has been assigned as a string. And maybe I'm going to give something like a 10.234, which is an floating point variable. Even it is a floating point variable, it will be considered like a string, and it will be assigned to over here. If suppose we wanted to get that converted into the floating point variable, maybe we can use the method of a equals float of input over here, and which will call something like a 10.234, and it will be assigned with the floating point data type. Actually, input function receives all the value as a string, and we are converting that into the floating point, and we got that floating point variable of a got created. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This is something like input, whatever be the value, that whether it is an integer, float, or anything, that will be treated like a string only. That was the over here. And we have the data type of list, which something that we can have something like a list is the one which contains a series of values, it which can be declared using a brackets, and uh, which something like it can be a combination of any data type, something like we can create something a list, for example, L equals, this is an empty list. L, if suppose we give something like no elements, then it will be a empty list over here. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that this is the empty list. Maybe if suppose we wanted to have something like a L equals the open braces, I'm going to define something like an integer and a floating point, and we can have something like a string. Maybe Nivi is the string, and we have the option something like 23 plus 45 plus 45j, sorry, 45j, which provides something like different data types. A list can have list will be similar to array in C programming, but the thing is it can have different data types: integer, floating point, string, and complex variables over here. And if suppose we wanted to get the length of a list, that can be done with the len of L, that will provide something like a uh, the length of number of elements present in that particular list. And if suppose we wanted to access, and maybe we can do L of 0 and L of 1, and we have L of 2, and we have L of 3 over here, and like that we can able to access. And maybe we can, if suppose we wanted to change L of 0 equals something like I wanted to change into first element to string, and we can do that. Now if suppose we do print L, yeah, it's something, it provides the 0th element which has been changed from 10 to Hariharan. Like that we can be able to change any content with respect to that index, that we can able to do that. And we have the option in the list variables, something like append, insert, extend, index, and remove, sort, and some kind of a reverse list. And we have the option something like a sort and reverse. that will work only in case of a integer integer list and over here. For example, we have the option L2 equals something like if suppose I wanted to do uh, L dot sort over here, which provides some kind of errors in that output, since it has something like a combination of integer, floating point, and complex variables. If suppose we have something like a L2 equals 12 and then 9 and then 45 and then 63 and then 23, like that. If suppose we do L2 dot sort over here, which provides something like a output, if suppose we print, which sorted in the ascending order. If suppose we do L2 dot reverse, then we got the output of something like a reverse manner, descending order manner, that we can able to get it over here. If suppose I'm going to do L2 equals 12.34 and 45.23 and 12.0, and we have 56.0 over here. And if suppose I do if L2 dot sort, this provides some kind of a floating point variable which gets sorted over here. And if suppose we can have something like the mixture of integer and floating point variable that can be present. For example, I have 12 and then 56, and if suppose we do L2 dot sort over here, which can able to do that, and we can get that output accordingly. For example, 12, 12.34, 45.23, like that it will get assigned created. We cannot have something like an integer, the string in the integer and floating point, that will create an issue during the sorting. For example, I'm going to create L3 for 34 and Hari and 56, 78, and whenever we do L3 dot sort, then we get something like the comparison between string and integer, and we have the option L3 equals, and I'm going to do Navy and maybe Hari over here, and name 1 and name 2. Sorry. Name 2, and we can do L3 dot sort over here, which provides the which sorts that thing in the alphabetical string format. H, after the H we have N over here, we have after NA we NAME1 and NAME2, which is higher, and we have this, and like that it will be get sorted accordingly over here. And we can use something like a append to add an element, and insert to add an element and at the respective index. For example, we can have something like a L3 dot append. Maybe I'm going to append something like a test over here, and if suppose we do print of L3, we got test added. And for example, if suppose we wanted to add in this particular location, then we can do L3 dot insert and insert at something like the index number 0 and index number 1, and I'm going to add index number 1 and something like name 3 over here. And whenever we do print L3, we got the index name 3 got added in the index 1. Yes. Yeah, the similar way we can do extend the two list which with the list dot extend, and we have list dot index and list dot remove. Like that, we have the option, and we have the another data type called.
Excuse me. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hari sir. Hari sir, would you be talking about slicing, list slicing?
That yeah.
You have slicing, right, in list?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you be talking about that or?
Yes. If needed, we can talk. It's something like uh, uh, dividing two lists, something like that. You wanted to have.
No, list slicing is also like one concept, right? Like one method of slicing.
Maybe you can share your list slicing that your inputs, or you can add you can feel free to add your inputs.
Yeah, okay. You can continue. I will share.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that we have the another data type called tuple. Tuple is something like we can say it can be a sequence of immutable Python objects. It's something like we can say immutable. It cannot be changed like list. For example, that we can have the tuple. Tuple can be created with the help of the parenthesis over here, and list uses the square brackets. Basically, the tuple uses the parenthesis to define the tuple. And for example, I'm going to create something like a T3 is the tuple which I'm going to create, and which may be Hari, and we have the name, comma, we have Nivi over here, and we can, it looks like similar to list, but only thing is something like we can access T3 of 0 in the same manner that we can able to get, but the values present over here are immutable, we cannot change. For example, I'm trying to change for T3 of, maybe I'm going to change 0 to Nivi, and it provides the object does not support assignment. It's something like the tuple values, or once it got created, it cannot be changed during the runtime. Yes, that is the main difference between the list and tuple. Yes, yeah. Uh, the tuple will have the operations something like len of length to get the length. We can use len of tup, len of T3, which is provides length, and maybe we can do max of T3, which provides the maximum value, and min of T3 will give the minimum value or present over there. Yes. And if suppose we wanted to create a tuple sequence, and we can do tuple range of 20, then it creates the tuple for 0 to 19. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Uh, this is basically the slice that you wanted to have something like it can be on the string, or it can be like a tuple, and it can be on the list, that if suppose we wanted to play with that, and it has something. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Harifa.
It's something like we can have something, for example, here we want to have the tuple, and I'm going to do x equals a tuple sequence of range of 20 over here. And when I do,
Sorry, I can't see your screen. I can't see your screen. Is there any problem? Only at my end, I don't know.
I shared here. Everybody
Yeah,
can.
it's visible. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
Is it now fine? Yeah.
It's visible. Yeah.
Okay. It's uh, it's something like we can say print maybe x, which could you able to see? Yeah, it's something like the tuple created. For example, we can play with the slide, play with that something like over here, print of x. I wanted to do that something like from first element up to uh, sixth element. I can do the slicing over here, something like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's something like in the array that we can do that 1 is to 6, something like it is a starting and ending over here. It's something like the first element will be, from the first element it will do. For example, we can do the same way, x of something like 10 colon, then it starts from the 10th element and till the end. Yeah, it does something like a 10th element, index 10, from there we got the output up to that. Like that we can able to play with the portion of the list or tuple that we can able to do that. Maybe I'm going to do 0 up to 17, then I will get up to uh, uh, 17th index that we will get on the output basically. If suppose we wanted to have some kind of a uh, if suppose we wanted to remove something, that we can do, maybe I'm going to do 1 to 5 comma 8 to 10. Sorry, no, we have to do something like this. Which provides some kind of outputs over here, something like uh, um, the first tuple, which has something like first element to up to fifth element. Before fifth element, it is something like 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and we have 8 to 10. We have 8 and 9 got printed over here. Like that, we can able to do the slicing of uh, uh, slicing. We can play with something like giving the argument something like 1 is to 5 or 8 is to 10, like that in the index, that we can able to get it. Apart from this, we can give the option like a slice is the function that can be used over here, similar to similar to it was suggested something like if suppose we wanted to do stepwise 2-3 times like that, maybe we can use the slice method, something like print. I'm going to do x of something like slice of, maybe I'm going to do 1 to maybe 18, and the steps of 3 over here, and that provides some kind of a slicing of 1 after steps, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, then take that element, and 1, 2, 3, take that element. Like that, if suppose we wanted to do the slicing, that we can use the function called slice is the function that can be used to slice the tuple or list or string accordingly over here. Yes. Is it fine?
Yeah, Harika, one more thing. So
Yes.
the list and the tuple are a combination, right? Like how you have put one example here.
Yes.
This is a combination of a list and a tuple because there is a tuple and a list, both.
No,
Uh,
actually, X is the tuple. Yeah.
yeah, it's in the tuple, correct.
Yes.
Correct.
If suppose that we wanted to do the slicing, maybe we can do the slicing with the X of something like 4:8, which provides from index
From 4 to 8. Yeah, okay.
to 8. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the same way, like I'm asking, can there be a combination of a list and a tuple, like uh, in the same statement? Is that possible?
Indexing, you can slice with respect to the variable only. For example, we have something like the variable list. I have L3 is the list. For example, print of L3 over here. This has this many elements. For example, similar way we can do L3 1:, then it will just print similar way. And whenever we are doing slicing, it's something like that results in the list only.
You should be careful in that.
Yeah, it's something like the list
Okay.
will provide output of list and tuple will provide the output of tuple. Yes.
Okay. So it's like accessing both separately. Correct?
Accessing both separately. We have to access both separately. We cannot access both. We cannot access that. The list will have another variable and tuple will have another variable. If suppose we wanted to do access, we have to use that each variable separately only.
Okay, sir. And just one last question, sir. Like, see, what is the best way to actually study syntax? Because what happens normally is like when we code, we don't remember the syntax. So obviously we go to Google and we copy the syntax and then go ahead with the program. So what is the best way to actually remember all these syntax? Like for example, even for list, we have almost like about 10 methods. Similarly, for every thing, we have like at least 10 types or 10 methods.
Actually,
So what is
actually,
the best? Yeah.
that because for example, Python or any programming language, Python, Java, or Android, any programming language, it has been dumped with lot of option, lot of member function, lot of
Correct.
that each we cannot
Remember.
remember each and everything. That uh, yeah. For example, for that we can use something like a auto completion to search. Something like we wanted to do some operation over here. For example, you wanted to do, then you can check the append operations, and in that we can able to do that. Well, uh, here we wanted to do something like appending, or we wanted to do the clear. If suppose we wanted to clear the full complete list, we can use select the option clear, and whenever we do L3.clear, and we can use something like all the contents will be cleared from the list. Yeah. The similar
Okay.
way we can use something like L equals L2 dot, maybe we can do copy, which provides something like a copy of L1, L2 to L value that provides a copy. The best way is something like we can search for the auto completion option in our development environment, which is an first step that we can do that. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have the tuple operation, something like uh, to get something like a len is the function. And if suppose we wanted to do the concatenation of two tuples, that we can able to do with the plus operation. For example, here we have the option and uh, print of x which comes from 0 to 19, and if suppose we wanted to do yeah, create another one, x1 equals x of something like 1 to 5 plus x of 8 to 10 and plus x of something like 13 to 16 over here, which provides something like output which has been 1 to 5 is 1 to 4, and we have 8 to 10, 8 and 9, and 14, 15 got created something like the multiple tuples, the multiple sliced tuples has been combined and it got created like another tuple over here. Yes. And we have the option something like a repetition uh, in the tuple operation. For example, something like we can do if suppose we wanted to fill with the same value for this many times, that we can able to do that. Yeah, if suppose I'm going to give, yeah, maybe high into 5 times, this provides a tuple of 5 times over here, high over here, that will be get created. Yes, that that we have that options over here that to create. Yeah, similar way we can do multiply by 2, which creates a 2 high, and maybe we can assign x equals high into 2, which creates something kind of a repetition that it creates with the over here. And if suppose we wanted to check the membership whether that element is present or not, that we can use the method of you can use a function in that, for example print of x, which has a sorry um, maybe we have something like this, x equals something like a tuple of range of maybe 20 over here, and we wanted to check 20 is present in x or not, and it says false because something like 20 is not present in the okay yeah, it's something we can check the whether something like the tuple is present over here. Maybe I can Yeah, that we can able to check the particular value is present in that particular tuple or not. For a similar way, we can do L3, which is an element, which is an list. For example, we can check something like 12.34 in L2. That provides the something like in will be the one which confirms whether that particular element value is present in that in the list or not. That we can able to check with the help of in keyword basically. And here we have an another data type which is called set. Set, we can say that something like it's a unordered collection with no duplicate elements. It's something that we can have, for example, list or tuple can have the duplicate elements over here. For example, list will be user square bracket. I'm going to create 12, 12, 12. And if I print of L, then it has the duplicate elements 12, 12, 12, and the len of L is 4 over here. A similar way, we can use tuple with something like a 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And if I print, we have the 4 elements with that each 12 is the value. In case of a set will have similar to list, but the thing is it cannot have an duplicate elements, and the curly braces is the one used to create a list basically. And maybe I'm going to create S equals the set with the curly braces 12, 12, 12, 12 over here, and when we print, it has only 112, which means that it cannot have duplicate elements in the set. If suppose we wanted to create something like one which should not have the duplicate elements, then we can use the option of set over here. And the set has something like, we have gone through something like the set 1 and set 2, and we can do something like or different operations like mathematical operations like a union, intersection, and difference, symmetric difference. All those things can be manipulated between the sets. For example, I'm having 2 sets. For example, S1 equals languages, something like Tamil and maybe English, and we have the German over here, and S2 which has something like English, and we have science, and we have max over here. Yeah, these are all the 2 sets. And if suppose we wanted to get something like a print of S1 dot union of S2, which something like A union B, which provides something like whichever the elements are common between S1 and S2 will be considered like a single one. Yes, over here. That, for example, English is considered as a single one over here, and we got the output elements of 5. If suppose we do the print of S1 intersection, and we have the option intersection of S2, then which is something like a intersection is which is common area between the set 1 and set 2 over here. The set 1 and set 2, this is the common area over here. That will provide something like a S1 intersection S2 over here. Yeah. This is the difference between S4 and the set and tuple over here. And similar way, we have the option something like a dictionary. Dictionary is a powerful data type which basically holds lot of related information through keys. It will be something like a key and value. And for example, here we have something like a the dictionary. That D can be created with the curly braces, and we can use the key, for example, name equals Navy, and maybe marks equals 450, and we have something like a department equals maybe ECE over here. Sorry, not equals, it should be a colon. Yeah, over here, which provides some kind of information, something like D. D provides the something like dictionary provides something like a name is the key and its value is Navy. Marks is the key and its value is 450. Department is the key and its value is ECE, like that. Yes, that we have the option with the key and pair value that we can able to use with the dictionary variable, so that if suppose we wanted to add one more variable, one more thing into that dictionary variable, the key will not be get changed. For example, we can add something. We suppose in the list we are maintaining something like first one is Hariharan, which is a name, maybe a Navy, and then second element is 450, and third element is our department. Like that, if suppose we are maintaining, and if suppose there is any change in the index happen, we will get into mess. And in case of a dictionary, we are having the key for each value. If suppose we wanted to add new one, we can create a new key and we can add it into it. Yes. Yeah. And we have an apart from this dictionary, we can have something like sorry, we can have that the different options that we can able to do with the same, like a dictionary update and get of k. Maybe k is the key, and we have the option I'm going to give name, and which provides the key. Yes, the dictionary is also like a set, but the thing is the dictionary and set gets differed like a different variable. And for example, the dictionary also uses a curly braces and set also uses a curly braces. But the thing is, dictionary has been defined with something like uh, key and value. If suppose we define something like key and value, then it will take it as a dictionary variable. If suppose we does not give key, then it will be considered like a set. Yeah. For example, I'm going to create d equals, we have created the variable d with the key of name and its value Navy, key of marks and its value 450, like that. And whenever we see here, the D is the dictionary variable. If suppose you do create S equals the curly braces and maybe Navy without the key, it will be considered like a sets basically. If suppose I am creating only with the values, and we can see S is created like a set over here, and D is created, since there is a key and value, this got created like a dictionary variable. The here we does not have the key, only the values we have. Because of that, it has created like a set variable. Yes. Is it fine? Yeah, okay. And then we have something like the formatting the outputs, something like using a modulus that we can able to do that while doing the printf, that we can use the modulus function to get a print. For example, over here, and I'm going to have something like a equals 30 and b equals 45.23. And if suppose we wanted to do something like a formatted output, I'm going to do a colon then percentage d comma b colon something like percentage f, and I'm going to do the percentage of a comma b over here, which provides something like a equals 30 and b equals 45.34. If suppose we wanted to do some kind of uh, uh, the formatting, that's something like only one decimal point is enough, then we can do something like one before the decimal point maybe 4 digits, and we have something like after after the digit there can be only 1 point that can be present, because when once we do 4.f we got something like the floating point variable has been strinked to that 1 digit resolution precision, and it got printed over here. Yes, this is something we can have, we can say something like a, this is some kind of a older formatting. Nowadays this formatting is not used, maybe it may be removed maybe sooner or later, and they have introduced something like a format output is the format using the format method or format function. Format is the method added in Python 2.6, which is used to that something like curly braces or used to mark, it will be substituted with the values. For example, I'm going to do something like print of something we can say argument 1 equals something the square braces, and argument 2 colon some curly braces over here, and then dot for dot format over here, and I'm going to give the argument maybe a name 1 comma name 2 over here, which provides something like the wherever the braces will be filled, the first braces will be filled with the first argument, the second braces will be filled with the second argument. If suppose we wanted to use the argument numbers, I'm going to use, we have two arguments, argument 0 and 1. I'm going to give 0 and 1 here, which provides something like an argument 0 is name 1, argument 1 is name 2 of format. If suppose we change like this, maybe, yeah, 0 over here and 1 over here, which provides something like a name 2 and name 1. Argument 1 has been filled with this argument, the element 1, and argument 2 of 0, which means something like element 0, index 0 has been filled over here. Like that, we can able to do the formatting, and the similar way we can do, for example, if suppose we wanted to do something like 34.56 and we wanted to do the formatting, and we can do arg3 colon something like 2 colon maybe 4.1d 1f, then it provides the output of the one precision outputs 345.6, which something like the during the round off the 5 has been increased to 6 because the next decimal point is greater than 5. Yes, over here. And then we have the option something like decision making in the Python programming over here. Decision making, we have the option something like if and else is the one which makes the decision making algorithms, and something like we have the conditional statements which is an useful to make the decision whether it is a true or false outcome. And for example, we have an if loop with something like we have the if it matches and the condition is true, then this particular code will be executed, else that it goes to the next line of the code. And in case of if else, for example, that we will be having the if condition is true, then if code section will be executed. If condition is false, then else code section will be executed over here. Maybe we can create a new file. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to create a new one, new Python file, something like if demo.py. Yeah. Here I'm going to do define something like x equal to maybe we can add something like we can receive the input, maybe print maybe enter BMI over here. Maybe I'm going to do maybe enter height, sorry, and I'm going to receive something like a height equals float of input over here. And the same way I'm going to do print enter weight and we have the weight W equals float of maybe I'm going to do input, I'm going to receive the input over here. And once it is done, maybe we have the BMI B equals something like weight divided by H into H over here. Weight divided by height square is the BMI, and we have the option. And I'm going to do something like if B greater than 30 over here, then I'm going to do print or over weight over here. Yeah. Now we can see how can we run this, and I'm going to run with the help of run command. and I'm going to run the if demo. I'm going to type height. Maybe I might have 165. Sorry, 165, and then height I'm going to give something like 100 is the weight over here, and which provides something like a it does not provides with that, and maybe I'm going to give little higher, maybe 140 and 100 over here. Yeah, sorry, it's something we have to do with the height divided by 100. It should be in meters. Yeah, that was the issue. And I'm going to give 176, and then I'm going to give the 100. Maybe 120 is the weight I'm giving, which is something like a overweight, which provides the output of print BMI colon the braces, and maybe I'm going to give 5.2 F over here, and then dot format, and I can give something like a B over here. Yeah, this is something we can have the output. I'm going to do 175 and my weight is 120. Couple in yes, 0 colon, yes. Uh, 175 and we have 120. It's something like 39.18, which is an overweight. This is something like we are checking the conditional variable if, and if it is greater than 30, the if block will be get executed, else it just comes out of the loop. If suppose we wanted to have else block, which is something like print of normal weight over here, and whenever we run this demo, and I'm going to give the reasonable value 175, and I'm going to give something like a weight of 75 over here, and which provides which something like a normal weight, and which something like B is not greater than 30, which means it's a false. Because of that, the else block of code get executed over here. And similar way we can do that option. For example, I'm going to do something like the B less than maybe 15 is underweight, and we have something like else, we have else if B less than 25 is something like print weight lower than normal we have, and for example else if B less than 30 over here, and with something the 20, and then we have the 25 up to 25, we can say something like a print of normal weight, and we have the option something like else if B less than 30, then we can give something like a print of something above normal weight over here, and if it does not matches with anything, we can say that overweight. Yeah, this has the overweight over here. Now I am going to run. I'm going to give something like 175, and the value I'm going to give something like 75, and which provides something like a output which is a normal weight. And whenever we calculated the BMI, the B will be checked whether this is true. Actually, the value is 24.49. The B is less than 15. This will be false condition, and it will check for B less than 0. This is also false condition, and it goes to the next else, and it checks for whether less than 25. Yes, it is less than 25, and it prints the normal weight, and it exits out, and the control comes to here. Sorry, the control will comes to here, and it's completely out of the if decision. Yes, yeah. The similar way, we have the option for something like the different loops that we can have in the Python programming, something like a while loop and for loop, and nested while loop and for loop, basically over here. And for example, we will take an example of a while loop program flow. It's something similar to that. The conditions, it will, the loop will check for a condition. If the condition is matches, then the while loop block will get executed. If it is false, it comes out of the loop. That we will see how can we define something like a while loop over here. I'm going to create a new file, new Python file, which is an while demo.py, and I'm going to set something like x equals 0, and while x less than 10, the loop has to continue, and I'm going to print something like argument, something like the x equals something like comma, sorry, dot format of x over here. And then I'm going to increment x equal to x plus 1 over here. And whenever we do the run, I'm going to do print program came out of while loop over here. And I'm going to run this, run the while demo, which prints something like initially the value is 0, and it checks for the x, the condition will become true, and in case of a true, it prints the value of x, and it get incremented. This section of while code block has been executed, and it checks for another one, and it continuously checks, and it gets continuously incremented, and whenever the condition becomes false, it came out of the loop, and it prints something like a program, a control came out of the while loop over here. It's something like that. It will do the operation, it checks for the condition and executes the code if it is a true, and it will check for the condition. If it is true, it executes that particular code, and it goes and checks for the condition till it reaches the condition false. The while loop is continuously running the code blocks which is present inside the while loop block. Once the condition is false, it exits out of the while loop, and it came out of the while loop over here. And the similar way, we have the option for for loop, for loop will have the option something like uh, we can take that information from the sequence and we can update executes that particular code basically. For example, here we have an option something like I'm going to create a another file which is called a Python file which is an for demo.py over here, and I'm going to define a list. For example, L1 equals something like I'm going to define a list, maybe a name. Sorry, I'm going to define Nivi and then Hari, and then we have Haran, and then we have the meetup over here. And in order to get the list, maybe I'm going to do for X in L1 over here, and which provides I'm going to print of X colon something like the curly braces dot format of X over here. And whenever we do execution of this, and we will get the output like this for demo, which something like X equal to Nivi, X equal to Hari, and X equal to Haran, and X equal to meetup. Basically, the loop will get executed in the for loop. It will from the sequence. A list is the sequence of elements. The for loop will fetch the first element and executes its code block, and the next iteration it gets the next element and executes its code block, and it fetches the next element and executes the code block, and till the time it reaches the complete sequence of information, sequence of data has been fetched and executed, and till the time the for loop will continue. Once there is no further data, the for loop will get out of the control and it will be exited accordingly. And in case we have the loops and we have the control statements for the loops over here, which provide something like a break, continue, and pause. Basically, the break is to terminates the loop and continues the execution of the commands following the loop basically. And in case of a continue, it skips the current execution and it starts the next iteration accordingly. And the other one is pause, which does not execute any command, it just pass through the codes. Yeah, that we will see how it is working over here. For example, I'm going to define, for example, if I'm going to do if X equals Hari, then continue. It's something like the current iteration will be skipped and then the next iteration will be started from the started basically. Basically, it goes to fetch the next next series of data from the sequence basically over here. And I'm going to do else if X equals something like Haran, then maybe I'm going to do meetup, then I'm going to do break over here, and then we have the option else cases. I'm going to do pause over here, so that pause is the one which continue is the one which terminates the current iteration at it initiates the next iteration, and in case of a break, it terminates the complete loop, and the program control comes over here. And I'm going to do print for loop exited over here. Yeah. It's in case of a meetup, it matches the break will terminate the loop and it goes to the next line of after the for loop basically. And in case of pause, it does not do any operation. It just pass through that accordingly. That we will see how it executes. That we will see over here. I'm going to run the for demo. Yeah. It's something like the first iteration. On the first iteration, it fetches the first element, Nivi, and there is no, it will be like a false condition. The Nivi is does not matches with the Hari, and Nivi is does not matches with the meetup, and it just passed through and it got printed. And on the next iteration, it fetches the next element, which is Hari, and something like it matches over here, and we are skipping that particular iteration, and we are going forward with the next iteration. Because of that, the Hari element does not got printed over here, and in case of that particular iteration is skipped, and we are starting a new iteration, and the new iteration, the next element which is Haran will be fetched from there, and we got the output of Haran over here since it does not matches over here, and we have the option something like it reach the once it is done, it gets the next iteration of meetup, and sequence it will be fetched, that is a meetup, and once it matches with over here, we are terminating the loop and the program control will come over here. In case of continue, it just terminates the current iteration and it goes to the next iteration. In case of a break, it completely terminates the loop and the program control comes out of the loop over here. This is the program control statements over here in the Python programming. Yeah. And similar to that, we have the function, and how can we define a function over here? That it's something that we can do something like the block function is the block of code that can be reused or perform an action which provides a better modularity of the code basically over here. And the definition of the function that we can have something like it begins with the keyword called def and followed by the function. For example, we can define this one as a function, and I'm going to define the for demo over here, and maybe I'm going to do and we can do something like this, and maybe I'm going to call this function for demo from here. This is the function which can be defined using the def, and if suppose we have the arguments to be passed, that we can receive the argument in the function. For example, I'm going to pass something like a list. I'm going to pass over here, and I'm going to do L1, and from the L1 I'm going to list. I'm going to receive the list, and the list will be processed accordingly over here. And if suppose I wanted to do that, receiving the argument, something like I am going to do return true over here, which means something like I can receive the value and I can do the print of return over here. maybe return is something like a dot format of return. Yeah. Whenever we are running this for demo, now the for demo function is called with the argument of L1 which is received in the list, and the list has been processed and the output has been created, and it returns a value of true which has been received over here in the variable return, and when we do the print we got the return outputs over here. This is some kind of a how can we create a function can be defined with the def is the keyword to define a function, and the function can have multiple arguments. Argument list can be created inside the brackets, and whatever value we are returning using the return, that will be received to the respective variable of a function returning basically over here. This provides a simple output of the function over here, and with this we have the similar way we have the option something like global variables and local variables. For example, we have the we define the function over here. We can have the global variables as well as the local variables, and for example I'm going to define something like a global variable g equals 40 over here, and I'm going to define something like g equals 20 over here, and I'm going to print g equals maybe dot format of g, and after the call we have the option to print again. Maybe I'm going to run this, and we got the value 40 and 40 over here. Since we have defined something like a g equal to 20, it does not have the effect. If suppose we wanted to use that global variables inside the whatever we have, whenever we define something like a variable, it will be considered like a local variable inside the function. If suppose we wanted to use that global variable, then we have to use the keyword called global g. For example, global is the keyword and g is the variable name over here. And whenever we run now, we got the value got changed over here outside the function, something like g equals 20. Whatever we have updated g equal to 20 has updated into the global variable of g, so that the program output gets changed g equals 20 like that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is something like the global variable. How can we define a global variable? If suppose we does not define the global keyword, if we does not use the global keyword, it will be the variable will be treated like a local variable inside the function. If suppose we wanted to use that global scope of variable, we have to use the global keyword with that variable that we need to use over here. Yeah. It's something that we can have something like the function we have pass by value and pass by call by value and call by reference. For example, in the Python programming, or whatever be the values, something like integer numbers will be treated like a pass by value, and if suppose we change inside the function, the value, the variable, the number variables will not get changed. And in case of a list or anything, as if we change that, the there will be change in the output over here that we will see. we have the different, maybe I'm going to use something like a call by val.py. I'm going to define something like a equals 10 and b equals 30. Over here, def func of a comma b over here, and maybe I'm going to do something like a equals 40 and b equals 50. And whenever we do the print a equals b equals over here, and then dot format of a comma b over here, which is I'm going to do a function call function of a comma b over here, and I'm going to print in the same way. Whenever we run this, if we run this, we will be getting like call by value. It's something like there is no change, even we change it over here, a equal to 10, a b equal to 30, which does not get changed over here. This is the call by value. And in case of here we have something like another one that we wanted to do, call by reference over here dot py, and we wanted to do maybe we wanted to do call by reference. Basically, the integer or floating point and complex number variables, it cannot be changed. It will be treated like a call by value. In case of a list, tuple, or dictionary variables will be treated like a call by reference. For example, I'm going to use over here, and for I'm going to do L list equals something like, I'm going to define something like Hari, comma name, comma name 2 over here, and I'm going to pass this L over here, and I'm going to print list equals format of L, format of list over here, and I'm going to do function of list. Over here, and I'm going to add something like a kind of L dot append. I'm going to append something like a maybe test. I'm going to do appending over here. Now we are appending into the function, the local variable L that we which has been passed to this function over here, that we will see how it behaves. Call by reference, it's something like I'm going to print the list before calling this function, which has the 3 element Hari, name, name2, and I am passing this list to the function, and inside the list I'm going to do the append of another element to the list, and whenever I am printing the list over here, and it got appended. Because of that, it has been provided like a call by reference, and whatever the changes done inside the function, that will be get reflected out of the function as well. And because of that, we got the test is the element has been added into the list over here. And the call by, there is no the statements, something like we can use star to provide in the C programming, we will use the pointer to provide something like a call by value and call by reference. here in Python, by default, integer, floating point, and complex number variables will be treated like a call by values, and apart from that, the list, tuple, a dictionary, set, all the variables, all the data types will be treated like a call by reference, and if we change anything, that will be get reflected uh, over out of the function as well. Yes. Yeah. This provides some kind of a brief introduction about the Python programming, the refresh. Yeah. Uh, you have any queries on this? Yeah. Uh, in case of any doubts or clarification, you can feel free to ping me over here. And yeah, thank you. And any queries you have? Yes.
So I want to thank you. I mean, taking time to going over this. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, and yeah, and thank you very much for attending. And maybe I am looking forward your support, something like to share your knowledge in the upcoming meetups as well. Yeah, if suppose you, yeah, suppose you wanted to share some of the thing, maybe you can please ping me, and maybe yeah, you might have a lot of things. Everybody will have a lot of things, knowledges to share. Maybe please come forward to share your knowledge and information. It's not something like very complex or proprietary information. It's something like that we can share our the things to somebody can get started over here. Yes, I'm looking forward for support. Yes,
Sure. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
thank you, thank you,
Yeah, thank you, sir.
thank you very much. Yeah, yes.